Hello, today I am going to discuss free radical halogenation reaction, free radical mechanism in organic chemistry, and here in this session and in coming session I will discuss the halogenation of alkane, the halogenation of alkene also, which takes place through free radical reaction mechanism. A very common example is whenever any alkane or any group with any alkyl substituent is treated with chlorine gas. See this chlorine in presence of light, it gives alkyl halide CH3Cl as well as HCl. In this reaction, a mixture of products are obtained. Very often a mixture of products are obtained, and separation of the mixture is a problem, particularly for this reaction. It is not a very good reaction for synthetic point of view. Still, this is a typical reaction from mechanistic point of view because it proceeds through free radical mechanism. Let us see what happens in this reaction. How the chlorine react with methane and form methyl chloride and HCl. This can be represented schematically through a diagram. Let us see this diagram. The chlorine, the Cl2, this is a molecule. Such a molecule, when treated with the light, this arrow represents the light. The light, it may be visible, it may be diffuse sunlight, or maybe ultraviolet light. Light, when such light fall on the chlorine molecule, it dissociates into the two atoms, or better called radicals. The chlorine radicals, these are the radicals. The radicals are high energy species, they are paramagnetic, they have unpaired electron, and they are very reactive. How the radicals are formed? When the light react with the light, ultraviolet light react with the chlorine, the light, the energy of the light, it transmits to the chlorine and increases their bond vibration, and ultimately the bond will dissociate. Subjected, the energy of light is greater than the bond dissociation energy. Here in case of ultraviolet light, the energy of the ultraviolet light, the quanta of ultraviolet light has sufficient energy to dissociate the chlorine molecule, and when it dissociates, we got the radicals. These are called radicals, and radicals are very important species in organic chemistry. They are very reactive, and they initiate a chain reaction. It is very difficult to control, to tame the radicals. Radicals once produced will react further, and such a reaction is called chain reaction. Here, see here, technically one quanta of light is sufficient for one bond. One bond dissociated by one quanta of light, and it produced two radicals. Now each radicals are very effective, and such radicals in reaction mixture, they may react with methane molecule, they collide with methane molecule. There is no significant directional approach that the chlorine will collide with carbon or chlorine will collide with hydrogen atom. Whatever may be the direction, the orientation, they collide with the methane because all the molecules are in constant and random motion. Because of motion they collide, and because of the energy of chlorine, some of the collisions are very effective, and the chlorine collide with this methane molecule to form HCl as well as methyl radical, CH3 radical. See this. Now this is step number 1, the formation of chlorine radical from Cl2. The formation of chlorine radical from Cl2 is called chain initiation reaction. Such a reaction in which radicals are produced from a neutral molecule is called initiation reaction. This is called chain initiation reaction. And now the radical when react with normal molecule, neutral molecule, they produce another molecule, another radical as well as a stable molecule. Methane when collide with HCl, chlorine radical, it gives HCl. Or you say the chlorine will snatch the hydrogen. The chlorine need only one electron, and this all the bonds are basically here the carbon as octet gets satisfied, and all the bonds are basically sigma bond. The chlorine collide with hydrogen and snatch hydrogen and form HCl, and it will result in the formation of methyl radical. Now here you might ask one question, why not chlorine is forming a bond with carbon? Why with hydrogen? The answer is simple. Hydrogen seems to be tasty for chlorine. Okay, what this means? Tasty means basically this hydrogen chlorine bond is of more stable than carbon chlorine bond. Chlorine is of higher energy. When it collides with the methane, it goes in the direction to stabilize itself and goes towards forming stable bonds, more stable bond. Since HCl bond is more stable than carbon chlorine bond, therefore it snatches hydrogen and methyl get produced in this collision. Now this methyl radical is further of high energy, because the energy resulting from this bond formation, HCl formation, as well as from the chlorine, the energy will pass to the methyl radical. And now the methyl radical is very, very active and dominating reactive species in the reaction mixture. In the reaction mixture, it has numerous molecules. It has chlorine atom also, it has chlorine molecule also, it has methane also. But all reactions are not considered as fruitful. Only those reactions are considered fruitful that may result in some product. When suppose some methyl radical react with methane itself, what is the change? It will give another methyl radical and well as another methane, and again in this reaction the energy exchange is not very much, just it will maintain the average level of energy. Therefore it is not considered while we study the halogenation reaction. In the same manner, if the methyl radical react with the chlorine radical, if the methyl radical will chlorine radical, this has one electron and this also has one electron. When they collide together, they will form CH3Cl, and the reaction gets ceased because you are forming a bond between two different radical species. Further, in the initial level, the concentration of chloride radical is also very low. Therefore, there is very little chance of such a reaction. In fact, in such a case, in initial levels, the concentration of chlorine Cl2 as well as concentration of methane is very, very high in the reaction mixture. Therefore, the methyl radical react with, they collide with chlorine, and in such a collision it will basically dissociate this bond and form a bond with chlorine with one of its electron, and one of its electron they forming a stable species CH3Cl, as well as a chlorine radical is produced. What do we mean? This reaction is a free radical substitution reaction. Here we gone through three steps. Step number 1, chlorine collide with the incoming photon, the incoming quanta of light, and the chlorine when react with it will form Cl2Cl radical. This is your step number 1. In this step is endothermic in reaction, and here chlorine radical is produced. In the second step, the chlorine radical itself react with neutral methane molecule and form HCl, and another methyl radical is formed. This is your second step. In second step, the reactant is chlorine radical as well as a neutral methane molecule, and the product is HCl, a neutral molecule as well as a methyl radical. Such a reaction is called propagation reaction. Propagation means radical produce a radical. Here you have a chlorine radical producing another methyl radical. Such a reaction, the step 2 is called propagation reaction. Such a reaction may not be very supportive. Such a reaction may be endothermic or may be exothermic. Particularly here we see the step 1 is endothermic because chlorine requires energy, and in the second step the chlorine colliding with the methane and forming HCl and resulting in the formation of methyl chloride, it is just endothermic. It is not exothermic, it is endothermic reaction. Just a little bit energy is more energy is required, which comes from the reaction itself. We will see this. The methyl radical thus produced form a stable bond with the chlorine radical, with the chlorine atom, and form methyl chloride and Cl radical. This is your step number 3. This step is exothermic, and here a considerable amount of energy is released, and all those energy released makes the reaction overall favorable. See this, in the halogenation of alkane, if we do not go into the mixture of products, if we just go for the halogenation of methane only, then we find that overall the reaction is exothermic, because the energy required in this step is coming from the light, and the energy required in this step is very little, which is compensated by the energy released in the second step, in the third step, sorry. In the third step, it is highly exothermic. This step is endothermic, this step is endothermic, and this step is exothermic. In this case, high amount of energy is released, and in the way methyl chloride is formed, as well as chlorine radical. Now see what happened. Usually we go for up to this part, formation of methyl chloride, but the chlorine radical which is present in the reaction mixture, it will further collide with methane if present. And suppose if methane is not present, if methane, the concentration of methane get exhausted, then it react further with the methyl chloride itself. It react with methyl chloride and form HCl and result in the formation of CH2Cl radical, which will further further undergoes chain reaction and produce CH2Cl2. See, this is a very typical reaction, and because of this nature, the reactivity of the chlorine radical, the reactivity of the product species, it is called chain reaction, and such reaction will continue until and unless we get all the species, all the reactant exhausted. And if all the reactant exhausted, only then such a reaction ceases, and by colliding between each other, which is called chain termination step. We will discuss it later. Already we have seen the reaction in brief, and now I am going to discuss the different parts, the different phases of reaction in a step by step. Let us see the first step. The first step, formation of chlorine radical from chlorine molecule, is called chain initiation reaction. Chain initiation step. See, in this step, the light, the visible light, the ultraviolet light, the energy of ultraviolet light is 570 kilojoule per mole, whereas the bond dissociation energy of chlorine is, chlorine bond dissociation up to chlorine atom is 243 kilojoule per mole. This is about, this is, you remember this part, 243 kilojoule, and this is your 570 kilojoule. What this means? This reaction, the bond dissociation takes place very rarely. You can dissociate the bonds by heat, by light, or by some other species, by some other radical species. That is called sensitization. See, in this reaction, the chlorine from the neutral species, the lower energy species, this part, basically this coordinate is nothing but enthalpy, the heat, and the reaction proceed. The chlorine form the radical by using the energy, and since we have provided energy in the form of light, we are getting chlorine radical. And again, these chlorine radicals are high energy species. This bond cleavage is called homolytic bond cleavage because the bond is dissociated equally. The chlorine has 7 electrons in its outermost, and this also, and this has further energy also. Therefore, this is very, very reactive. This reaction is endothermic. It is called chain initiation reaction because a neutral molecule is giving out both radicals. See, in the next slide we will see the halogens are quite readily homolyzed. Homolyzed means dissociation in equal part, bond dissociation equally, resulting in the formation of radical. Heterolysis means uneven bond dissociation. Bond dissociation is homolytic type. The 58 kilocalorie per mole required to break the chlorine-chlorine bond is furnished by light, which is absorbed. Blue light means nearly ultraviolet light at 400 nanometer has energy of 71.6 kilocalorie per mole, while UV light at 200 nanometer can furnish 143.2 kilocalorie per mole light. This energy is enough to break any covalent bond if it is absorbed. The subject is absorption. All lights, all steps are not 100% efficient. That is called quantum efficiency. All processes are not 100% efficient. Some of the bonds, the bonds, if the collision, the light falling on the bonds may get absorbed, and when it get absorbed, it will dissociate the bonds. Free radical bromination is even easier than chlorination. Chlorine-chlorine bond dissociate to 2-chlorine, and we have got the chlorine radical. Next, already we have discussed that this step is called chain initiation step. It is endothermic, and greater the stability of radical, lesser the energy required. This is the very typical point which we have to focus. What is the concept? Greater the stability of radical, lesser the energy required. What this means? The radicals, if the radicals are stable, the energy of activation will be low. Less energy will be required because you are going from lower energy to not very higher energy, rather somewhat lower energy, still endothermic, but this is less than this one. Try to understand. Here in this graph, I have given the relative energy. If you are producing methyl radical, 1 degree radical. 1 degree radical are most unstable. What this mean? It requires more energy. It requires relatively more energy in comparison to ethyl radical. Ethyl radical is more stable than methyl radical because of hyperconjugation. In the same way, isopropyl radical is further more stable because it has 6 alpha hydrogen. Second tertiary butyl radical is further more stable because it has 9 alpha hydrogen. Here we have more hyperconjugation. In the same way, allyl radical is more stable because of resonance. Here we have resonance. And further benzyl radical, production of benzyl radical requires least energy. This is very, very important. Greater the stability of radicals, lesser the energy required. Now the point number 2. What is the significance, what is the use of this one? This point can be used in question if the question has more than one different type of molecules. Suppose some molecule has 1 degree carbon also, 2 degree carbon also, 3 degree carbon also. Then it is expected that 3 degree radicals requires since lesser energy. Therefore, such radicals are formed very easily, and it will form the product very easily. Means the product will have a predominance of substitution chloride at 3 degree radical position than at 2 degree and than at 1 degree. That is the logic. See, point number 2, reactivity of halogens. Here in the overall reaction, the fluorine is more reactive, much more reactive than chlorine, than bromine, than iodine. This is because of several reasons. First of all, bond energy, and second, the bulkiness, the size, the energy given to the species by the radical, and ultimately the radical, the energy of the radical produced. Energy of the radical, in case of fluorine, the bond dissociation energy is very, very low. The bond get dissociated very readily, and all the surplus energy get passed into the fluorine radicals. It is very, very reactive. And further, the third point is also important, because the formation of bond with fluorine radical. Fluorine form very, very strong bond, very, very small bond, and in this process very large amount of energy is released. All those energy will be transferred to the further reaction. All those energy will be transferred to the further reactant. And for this reason, the fluorination is also very, very reactive. Not only reactive, explosive. In the same manner, we can say that chlorination is also very reactive, and further followed by bromination, and iodination is somewhat very, very, you say, at lower pitch. Here we have reversibility also. Here the products form may get further converted to the reactant also. I will discuss it. The third point is initiators, reaction initiators, radical initiator. Who are radical initiators? Already I have given you the hint that radicals are produced in one way by heat, second way by light, and third thing is by sensitization. There are many species which form radicals very readily. For example, all peroxides. The peroxides are, whether the peroxides are normal H2O2 or alkyl peroxide, or even per esters or azo-isobutyronitrol. This is somewhat synthetic. It is used very much in synthetic process. Azo-isobutyronitrol. It is also used for radical production. These are radical initiators. When we have such a species in any reaction mixture, they will initiate the reaction. And once the reaction, the radical is produced, radicals are just like demons. Radicals are, for the time being, radicals are just like they are Talibanis. They will carry out everything. Okay, just let us move further. See, in this case, with F2, alkanes react so vigorously that even in the dark and room temperature, reactant is diluted with an inert gas. If we have to carry out fluorination, remember, why fluorination is so vigorous, why fluorination is so reactive, why fluorination is so explosive? You have to think about 3-4 factors. First, bond dissociation energy of fluorine is very low. Second, the bond formed by fluorine, the HF formed by fluorine, is so much stable that in this process a large amount of energy is released, and that very energy will further increase the reactivity. That will energy further increase the rate of reaction also, and it will explode suddenly, and that is called fluorination. It is explosive. And with methane with fluorine gives carbon plus HF. Carbon plus HF. It will snatch all the hydrogen, and ultimately you are getting carbon. And therefore, if we have to carry out fluorination, we will have to use inert atmosphere, nitrogen gas and inert gases in the atmosphere. Okay. The third point, iodination is a reversible reaction. Already I have discussed iodination. Iodination is reversible because iodine itself is a reducing agent. Since HI is formed as a byproduct and it is a strong reducing agent and reduces alkyl iodide back to alkanes. In this process, the HI formed is such a reducing agent that it will further reduce the methyl iodide form to the iodine and methane. And therefore, if we have to carry out the iodination, we have to use a strong oxidizing agent so that HI formed as a product get oxidized to HiO4. Okay, and for this purpose we use HiO3, HNO3 or HGO. They will oxidize the HI formed in the reaction, and reversible reaction is not possible. The product will not get converted to reactant further. Okay, This is the beauty of this reaction. You have to think about this one. Why not fluorination? Why the rate will get affected? Why fluorination is not possible? Why iodination is reversible? And further, chain propagation reaction. What is chain propagation reaction? Radical producing another radical. If radical producing another radical, if a radical is reacting, chlorine radical is reacting with methane, forming HCl as well as methyl radical. So this side is reactant and this side is product. Out of two reactant, one is radical, and in the product, out of two product, one is the radical. Radical producing radical, this implies this is called chain initiation reaction. Sorry, chain propagation reaction. Chain reaction is propagating like this. Radical producing radical, radical producing radical. This radical may not halt here. It will further react with another neutral molecule to give another radical. Chain propagation reaction. This is endothermic for chlorination. Step 1. This is step 1 of the chain propagation. Not all chain propagation reactions are endothermic. Mind my word. This is for the first step. In this reaction, the chain propagation reaction is endothermic. Here the chlorine radical is reacting with methane and forming HCl and methyl radical. In this reaction, the methane reacts with X radical. For the chlorine, this is very, very small, 1 kilocalorie per mole, still endothermic. Whereas in case of bromine, this step requires a large amount of energy, plus 17 kilocalorie per mole. Chlorine forming H, bromine hydrogen bond is not as much stable as HCl. Therefore, but carbon hydrogen bond is very, very stable. You are forming less stable bond in comparison to more stable bond. Therefore, you need energy. If you are forming more stable bond in comparison to less stable bond, therefore, the energy will be released. See, what is happening here? Chlorine radical, although chlorine has higher energy, still it is dissociating carbon hydrogen bond, a strong bond, and forming a weak bond, HCl. And therefore, some amount of energy is required. Overall, it is endothermic reaction. In case of chlorine, it is just +1. Whereas in case of bromine, it is plus 17 kilocalorie. Remember, this is not kilojoule, rather kilocalorie per mole. This much energy required. For bromination, this energy is very much high. In step number 1, we need plus 17, and step number 2, 24 kilojoule calorie energy is released. Okay, this is your step number 1. Step number 2, chain propagation reaction. Overall endothermic for chlorination as well as for bromination. Now see, each propagation step in a radical chain involves the reaction of a species with one unpaired electron to produce another species having one unpaired electron. One example of propagation step in radical chain reaction is the abstraction of hydrogen atom by a halogen in free radical halogenation. Methane and chlorine under the influence of UV light or at 250 to 400 Celsius react vigorously to yield HCl and a mixture of CH3, Cl, CH2, Cl, CHCl3 and CCl4. Okay. Now see, the order of reactivity of the halogens for methane can be explained by energy consideration, given the delta H value for the two principal propagation step. See this, which produce more energy, chlorination or bromination? The answer is chlorination. Fluorination is the most. Both steps are exothermic. Here one of the step is endothermic, second is exothermic, but overall 25 kilocalorie per mole energy is released in case of chlorination, and therefore it is much more reactive, whereas in case of bromine 17 and 24, overall 7 kilocalorie per mole energy is released, whereas in case of iodine it is overall endothermic. See this, 33 kilocalorie is required and output is 17 kilocalorie. Therefore, 14 kilocalorie energy is should be added further. That is the important. This is overall, iodination is overall endothermic, bromination is overall exothermic, chlorination is overall exothermic, and fluorination exothermic and both step exothermic. That is very, very important. Okay, that is about the reactivity of halogenation, chlorination, bromination, iodination and fluorination. Already I have discussed the reactivity of halides. See, the corresponding reaction of the iodine atom is so strongly endothermic that the reaction is ineffective. Indeed, HI can reduce alkyl iodide to alkanes and iodine. See this, because of this reason the reaction will go in the backward direction. Okay, now see, now the energetics of a second step. You see, already we have seen the second step and the third step. Third step is exothermic. Already this methyl radical is of higher energy and it is forming methyl chloride. You are forming carbon-chlorine bond, a stronger bond in comparison to chlorine-chlorine bond, weaker bond. Therefore, this is overall exothermic reaction. Overall, okay. Next, the next point is very, very crucial from examination point of view. Percentage distribution of product. What happens if some species with 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree hydrogen react with chlorine in presence of sunlight? What will the dominating product? If someone will ask you, give the monochloro product. What is the dominating monochloro product? On the basis of kinetic study, it has been measured by scientists on the basis of kinetic study. We are just memorizing those facts. Remember, it is not that these logics comes from kinetic study, from the observed data. From the observed data, it is clear that reaction 1 degree for halogenation, monochlorination, for 1 degree, if the reactivity is 1, then for 2 degree, the reactivity is 3.8, and for 3 degree, the reactivity is 5. Whereas in case of bromination, the difference is very large. 1 is to 82 is to 5000. What this means? This is called selectivity. Bromination is highly selective. Iodination is highly selective. Chlorination is not so selective. Although chlorination is also reactivity is more, but not as much like this. Here it depends on the product of chlorination, also depends on number of 1 degree, 2 degree hydrogen atoms. Both reactivity and selective. See, the ultimate products depends on 2 factors. Collision, chance of collision, how much 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree atom is there, and second, the reactivity factor. For chlorination, 1 degree is less reactive than 2 degree than 3 degree. If 1 degree is 1, then 2 degree is 3.8 and 3 degree is 5. In case of bromination, if 1 degree is 1, 2 degree is 82 and 3 degree is 5000. This is selectivity. Means in all cases of bromination, we safely assume that 3 degree will only undergo bromination and a few at 2 degree. Very rarely, not possible at 1 degree unless all the atoms are to 1 degree. Whereas in case of chlorination, the product distribution depends on number of each type of hydrogen as well as reactivity also. Okay. In case of fluorination, there is no such reactivity, selectivity, because the energy is very, very high. It only depends on the type of hydrogen available. Exothermic for fluorination and bromination. Now, the last one, inhibitors. What are the radical inhibitors? What is the role of radical inhibitors? A substance that slow down or stop the reaction is known as inhibitors. Basically, inhibitors are nothing but radical scavengers. They control the concentration of radicals. They control the concentration of radical in the reaction mixture. For example, oxygen is a good radical. Not only oxygen, all phenolic compounds are radicals. All phenolic compounds are radical inhibitors. And therefore, the polyphenols, all the polyphenols in biochemistry, the polyphenols has a large significance. The polyphenols are considered as antioxidant. They consume the radical producing species and retard the rate of oxidation. They are antioxidant. See, what is happening here? R radical with oxygen gives ROO radical. If you have R radical, this with oxygen gives ROO radical. This ROO radical react with further R, any alkyl group, and form ROOR. Thus neutralize the radical. The radical get neutralized. The concentration of radical in the reaction get decreases, and therefore the rate becomes slow. All reactive alkyl free radicals are consumed, so reaction stops for a period of time. Okay. In all such free radical halogenation reaction, the products are a mixture of products. Because radicals when produced, they cannot be controlled. It is not easy to control. They will continue the reaction till last of the molecule get exhausted. What happens if methane get exhausted? If methane get exhausted, they will work on methyl chloride. If you have chlorine radical available in the reaction mixture, they will work on methyl chloride. What happens if methyl chloride is consumed? Okay, as soon as the concentration of methyl chloride will decreases, the concentration of CH2Cl2 will increases, and as soon as the concentration of CH2Cl2 will increases, the CH2Cl2 will be now attacked by chlorine radical or any other radical available in the reaction mixture. Okay, and in this way the chain reaction will takes place. In this way the chain reaction will undergo. Okay. Now let us see. Already we have seen that chlorine reacting. Now see the second step. What happens when methane gets exhausted? The chlorine will react with methyl chloride and form HCl as well as CH2Cl radical, and such a radical will further collide with chlorine molecule. We can't think about this one. Otherwise, the reaction is of you are snatching hydrogen from here, he is snatching hydrogen from here. There is no fruitful product is formed. Basically, reaction is oscillating at equal energy, and therefore it is not considered. Rather, we will look for the stable product. What happens if this reacts with chlorine molecule? If this reacts with chlorine molecule, a stable product is formed. Which product? See this. If this reacts with chlorine molecule, a stable product CH2Cl is formed and a Cl radical is produced. Now see here. What is happening further? What happens if this again get exhausted? If this get exhausted, or this is the CH3Cl get exhausted, then this chlorine radical will work on CH2Cl2. This work on CH2Cl2. It attack the CH2Cl2. It attack the CH2Cl2 like this and form bond here, and this will result in the formation of CH2Cl2 radical, CH2CCl2H radical as well as HCl. HCl is formed and you are getting CH2Cl radical. This CH2Cl radical in the same manner react with another chlorine molecule. This will react with other chlorine molecule to form CHCl3 as well as it will produce Cl radical. Now, what happens if this also get decreases? The concentration, as soon as the concentration of the reactant get decreases, the concentration of this part will increase. And once you have more concentration of this one, this will react with Cl radical and it will form HCl and it will produce the Cl will react with this one, form HCl and CCl3 radical, and once the CCl3 radical is produced, it will react with Cl2 to form Cl radical plus CCl4. In this way, this is called chain reaction. In chain reaction, once a photon is used, once a radical is produced, it will carry out chain reaction. It will neutralize, it will react with thousands of neutral molecules. And see, A lot of process, ozone hole formation is also radical reaction. Once a radical is formed, it will dissociate a number of ozone molecules. See, this is your chain reaction. And how the chain reaction get controlled? The chain reaction get controlled by chain termination reaction. What is chain termination reaction? The radical react together. The radical, when ultimately if no such reactant is present, then what happens? All the radicals react with themselves to form a stable molecule. For example, CH3 and Cl, it will form CH3Cl. CH3 and CH3, it will form CH3CH3, ethane. See, in this way, a lot of products are formed, a different type of products are formed. See, okay, in this way we have discussed about a lot of free radical halogenation reaction. Okay, and now we will see some questions as well as chain termination reaction.